Okay, we're going to make I'm going to make a quick video here on how to turn your Hulu graphic that you did for the Hulu website into a billboard and to insert it into a billboard mockup. Okay, so this is an exercise that we did in class, but I'm going to make a video on the steps on how to do that. Okay, so let me share my screen. Let's get right to it. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to the Canvas your Canvas, and you're going to download the mockup. And the mockup is under the Hulu Billboard mockup assignment here. So you're going to click on that, and you will see ultimately what we're trying to achieve here. This is the final result. You're going to take your Hulu graphic, you're going to insert it in this mockup, and this mockup contains a a mockup of a billboard. You're also going to choose a background photo because the mockup allows you to modify the background as well. And so the first thing we're going to do is work on the actual billboard itself. Now, one of the things that you have to take into consideration is that the billboard format, the proportions of the billboard are much wider than the Hulu graphic that you did for the website. So we're going to have to do some modifications. We're going to have to maybe spread things out and make it wider so it fills this space a little bit better. We're also going to take out the play button and start watching season 1, episode 1, because this is a billboard. We don't need that. And so all we're going to have is just the heading and your short description line and the Hulu logo. Okay, so those are the things that are going to be different in this assignment as opposed to the previous one. Okay, so let's go ahead and download this billboard mockup zip file. So I'm going to click on the download button here, and on my computer it downloads here. So I see the downloads, and I'm going to grab this billboard mockup design zip, put it on my desktop, and open it up. Double click on this, open up the folder. Double click on the folder. And inside this billboard mockup, you will see some files here. The one that we're concerned with is the file that says .psd. Okay, this is the billboard mockup that we're going to open up in Photoshop. Okay, so let's do that now. Let's double click on this file and we'll launch Photoshop. Now I have a later version of Photoshop than we have at school, but that shouldn't affect anything. Like, you will not see this bar that comes out here. And if your palettes over on this side look a little bit different than mine, I'm using, I believe, the Essentials palette. So just click on Essentials and you should get something like this. Okay, as we discussed before in the previous lecture on mockups, we have our main mockup here. This is the billboard part, and then we have our background, which we can insert a background photo. So we're going to work on this mockup first, the actual billboard. I'm going to click on the thumbnail here, just double click, and that's going to open up a new tab. You can see the new tab here that's open, and that is the actual billboard canvas or page size that we're going to be working with. You can see here that if I turn off the visibility of this, we have a blank canvas to work on. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to add a new layer. So I'm going to come down and add a layer. And this layer, actually, no, I'm not going to do that, because what we're going to do is we're going to go grab layers from the actual Hulu graphic that you did for the website. Okay, so we're going to open up that Photoshop file, the one that you just finished doing for the website. So I have it here on my desktop. It's called Danger Awaits Hulu Promo So I'm going to double click on this and open this up. And this is what you will see. Let me get this out of the way here. This is what you just did for the Hulu website. Now, we're not going to have any of this copy or the play button or the start watching or any of these things down here starring so-and-so. We're not going to have that. We're just going to have what I was explaining previously. Okay, so we're going to take the elements of this Photoshop file, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come down and grab these three images here. Okay, the lion, the snake, and the tiger. On yours, it'll be different, whatever images that you used on yours. And I'm going to just select these three. Okay, I'm going to hold the Shift key down and select the top one and the bottom one, and it selects everything in between. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do Command C. And then I'm going to go over to my billboard here, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, so I'm going to do Command V, V as in Victor, and I'm going to paste those three. And you can see those three layers were pasted into this billboard format. Now, in my example, I had reduced the opacity of these. So let me get the opacity of the tiger, or I'm sorry, of the lion back up. You can see opacity says 51. I'm going to move that up. Yours will not. You will probably won't have to do this. I'm click on the snake and up the opacity to 100%. So all of these three now are all 100% opaque. And when I click on these individually, I can move these over. And so I'm going to move the lion over here. This was the original configuration for my Hulu ad. When you look at that, you can see how it was laid out. Over here now, because we have such a long format, I'm going to have to spread these out. So I'm going to move the lion over here. I'm going to move the tiger, let's say, over here. And then I'm going to move the snake over here. Now I still have to kind of stretch this out. So I'm going to rearrange the stacking order of these layers. What I want is the snake to be on top. So I'm going to take the snake graphic and move its layer to the top. See how it's in front of everything. And then I'm going to move the tiger graphic or photo to the back, and I'm going to drag that to the bottom. So that's going to be behind the lion. So we have the snake in front, the tiger behind it, and the lion. I'm going to move this snake out maybe just a little bit more. I'm going to click on this tiger, and you might have to do some adjustments. I'm going to do Command T to transform. I clicked on the tiger, Command T, and then I'm going to drag this tiger up, grab a corner, and just make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to move this and position this over a little bit here. Okay, lion's in front, that's fine. I'm going to hit my return key to get rid of these bounding boxes. I'm going to grab the snake and move the snake over just a little bit here. Okay, maybe move the lion's head up. Okay, so this is the configuration that I want for this billboard. Okay, now what I'm going to do is bring in the rest of the elements, which is, the text. But what I have to do first is I have to make a gradation. Okay, and I want the gradation to be kind of an orange gradation, very similar to what I did here. You can see it's an orange to kind of light orange gradation. Okay, now I'm going to turn off all these layers so they don't get in the way. Okay, turn off the eyeballs so we're at a blank canvas again. Now, in order to make the gradation, I have to make it on a layer. So I'm going to add a layer here. Okay, just add a layer. And I'm going to move this gradation underneath all of these animals. Okay, so it's at the bottom. It's at the furthest back. Okay, so here's my gradation layer. And I'm going to just call this gradation. Okay, so I'm going to click on this layer here. Let me just click on that. And I'm going to call this gradient, Gradient, gradient. And again, I can name all of these if you want. I don't think we really need to do that, but I will do that just so that we know. I'll say snake. And then this one here was the lion. And then this one here was the tiger. Okay, so now at least when I look at my layers palette, I can see what everything is. Okay, I'm going to select the gradient layer. And here's where I'm going to go to my gradient tool, which is over here in the toolbar. You'll see it looks like a gradient. When I select that tool, you'll see up here that this is the current gradient that is at the default. I'm going to choose this one here. I'm going to choose this basic gradient, which is just black to white. And in your Photoshop, this might be black and this might be white. Let me just turn that to black and white here. Okay, so when you click on this gradient tool and you click and drag across, chances are you're going to get a black to white gradient. That's the default of this. And since my version is a little bit different, you might not see this, you might not see it the way I'm seeing it. But if you come over here to your, if you click on this icon right here, if you just click on that, the gradient editor will come out. And that's what's different between the older version and the newer version of Photoshop, is that the older version has this individual panel called the gradient editor. Anyway, in that gradient editor, you will see a gradient slider like this, one that starts with black and one that ends with white. And that's usually what your foreground and background color are. So I'm going to change this to start at an orange. Now I've already chosen that orange to use. So I'm going to, I believe you can select this and then just click on this. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm going to double click on this and I'm going to choose an orange color, okay, which is somewhere around there. Okay, so there's my orange gradient. Okay, and then I'm going to come over to the white, and what I think I'll do is I'll move this slider here, this little black slider, and on the newer version you see that same black slider right here, full screen. But I'm going to take this little black slider and I'm going to just kind of move that over to the right. And you can see how that orange gradation is kind of moving over to the right. And I'm going to move it there. Then I'm going to redraw this thing and just draw it off the page so we don't have any white there. Okay, something like that. See how when I move that end point, okay, it goes off the page, and now I have kind of the gradation that I want, you know, from orange to light orange. Okay, so again, watch this video, watch the way this is done. This is probably the only, you know, complicated thing in this whole tutorial, but it's not really that complicated. Again, use the gradient tool, click and drag across, and just make sure that these two colors here are the colors that you want. Orange, you know, and then just adjust it like I did. Okay, so I have that now, and I'm going to get back on my move tool. Okay, so I have my gradient set. Now I'll bring back all my elements. Okay, my tiger, my lion, and the snake. Okay, now that I have these, all I need to do is bring in the text. Now I can do the same thing. I can go back to my original Hulu website and I can grab the text. So I'm going to click on Danger Awaits. I'm going to hold the Shift key down and I'm going to click on the other text too. This text, this description text. I'm going to copy this, Command C, and then I'm going to come over to our billboard. I am going to select the top layer here because when I paste, it's going to paste. Every time you paste above the layer that's selected. So I'm going to select this top layer and I'm going to paste, Command V. Okay. And there is my text. Okay. You can see the two layers that I copied. And I'm going to just move that over here. Now I might have to do some size adjustments. And we definitely want to take out the see more, okay, because we don't need to see more. There's no clicking on a billboard. Okay, so I'm going to move this text. Let me just click off so they deselect. And I'm going to move this text down for now. And I'm going to get this text, select this text, and I'm going to make it bigger. So I'm going to do Command T to transform. I'm going to grab a corner and just kind of bring that up. Okay, so it fills more of that space. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Danger awaits. I'll hit my return key and set that. Okay, I'm going to get this out of here. So let me hide that bar. Okay, I'm going to take this text right here. Again, I'm going to do Command T, and I'm going to enlarge this a bit. Okay, so it's probably the same width as this. And I'll hit my return key. Then I'm going to get on my text tool and I'm going to just kind of click after the word more and then just start deleting that see more. Okay, I don't need any of that. Large, period. Okay, so I have that. Now the last thing I want to do, actually I'm going to bring this up just a bit. Okay. And what I might do is select both of these and just for design purposes, just kind of slide it over just a bit. Okay. And now I need the Hulu logo. So again, I'll go over to my original. I'll grab this Hulu logo. I'll click on it. Okay. It's selected here. I'll copy it, Command C. I'll come over here and I'll paste it, Command V. I'll select the top layer here, Command V, it pastes it above. So there's the Hulu logo. I'll bring that over here. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So I'll put it down here. And I'll put it up here. Command T to transform. And I'll bring this up a little bit bigger so people can see it. I'll hit return, get rid of those bounding boxes. And I'll kind of play around with this and see where the best position might be. All right, so danger awaits. I've got my layout configured. And now what I want to do is, since I made this on the composite layer, remember this, I double clicked here and that was our composite layer, which is now over here. All I have to do is save this, Command S, and it will insert it in this billboard mockup. Okay, so I'll do Command S to save. Okay, you can see down here it's saving. And then when I come over to my billboard mockup composite, you can see that it inserted it into the mockup. Okay, I can always go back to it, and if I made a change, like move this over here and did save, Command S, you can see over here in my composite that it inserts it. Okay, so whatever I do here in this layer will be reflected in the composite, okay, when I save it. I'm going to undo this, Command Z, and I'll save it again, Command S. I'll come over to my composite and everything's fine. Okay, now I need to change the background photo. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this background smart object here. This is the billboard smart object. So the background smart object, I'm going to double click on this background smart object and we see the photo that they give us in the mockup. I'm going to turn that off, visibility off. So we have a blank canvas and I'm going to go get the photo that I want to use. And that is on the, in my file. Okay. So I'm going to go to my billboard mockup file here. and I'm going to look for my photo. It is under Hulu Show Graphic. Let's see where I put that. Hulu Promo Assets. Okay, I found that photo, so let's go get it. Here is the photo that I've chosen for the background photo. I'm going to take this photo and drag it right in. And you can see it made a layer in this. And I'm just going to drag this up so it fills this whole background area. So I'll have to grab a corner and just kind of drag this up to the top. And I'm going to grab this corner and drag this down to the bottom. I like to go a little bit over. Okay. And then you can kind of move it side to side, like, you know, where you want it to be. At this point, I think I'm going to, let's see where we had it before. Okay. So it looks like we see a little bit of this at the bottom of that. Okay. So yeah, that looks like it might be in the right position there. Okay, so I'm going to hit my return key and set that. And we know that when we use a smart object, all we have to do is save it, and it inserts it back into our composite. So I'm going to do Command S to this layer, Command S, and I go back to my composite, and there it is. Okay, it replaced that city photo with my Safari photo. Okay, so this is exactly what we want. We have reconfigured our billboard to fill this proportion, this wider proportion. We've brought in the 3 elements, copied them, and pasted them in to this smart object layer here. We also copied and pasted and did some modifications, enlarged a little bit the text. We also brought in the Hulu logo. We sized that and placed it. And then we saved it to our billboard mockup. And then we clicked on our background smart object, and we inserted the photo that we chose to be the background. Okay, now once we have all of this, we have to understand that we are still working on the original mockup. Okay, this was the mockup that we downloaded from Canvas. So what we want to do is we want to save this as our own Photoshop file. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to File, and I'm going to save this as something different. And I'm going to call this, let's just call it Danger Awaits Billboard. Okay. And I'll just save that to the desktop, but you can save it to your ThawSpace photo. And this is a Photoshop file, a PSD. And so it will have the layers, and it will be kind of like your own Photoshop mockup file. So I'm going to save that. Okay, click OK, and that will save to the desktop as a Photoshop. And it might take a few seconds for that to happen, but once it does, you will have your Photoshop mockup file saved to your desktop. And I believe there, yeah. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to save the same file as a JPEG, and that's the one we're going to upload to Canvas. So you're going to come over to File, you're going to come down to Save a Copy. You have to use Save a Copy when you're saving a JPEG. Okay, remember that. In Photoshop, when you want to save a JPEG, you have to do Save a Copy. And we'll come over to the Photoshop here, this format here, and we'll click on this and we'll choose JPEG. Okay. and it's going to name it the same thing that we named the Photoshop file, only it's going to say danger awaits billboard copy.jpg. That's fine. I'll save this to the desktop at the highest quality JPEG, and I'll click OK. Okay. So if we look on our desktop here, we should see our Photoshop file and our JPEG that we saved. Okay. And it should be saved to, to your desktop, but you'll save that to your thaw space. Okay. And then at that point, what you're going to do is you're going to take that JPEG and you're going to upload it to the Canvas assignment here. And down here, you'll see submit, and that's where you'll click and drag that JPEG over and submit it. Okay. So basically, again, what we're doing is we are taking our Hulu graphic that we use for the website, and we're now converting it into a billboard graphic. And we had to do some modifications, but at the same time, we're creating another piece of art for outdoor advertising. Okay, and this is done quite a bit in graphic design, where we have to create a design for one format, and then we have to recreate it for another format. We might have to recreate this again for a brochure, or the cover of a book or something, or a social media promotion. Maybe a Facebook promotion or Instagram promotion. And that would be a different size. Like Instagram is a square. So we might have to take this whole design and reconfigure it into like a square format. Okay, but in any case, that's what the steps are in doing this. And follow the steps and you should be fine in creating this. Okay, that's all. Signing off. I'll see you back in class.